Hello and welcome. So in today's show, then we're talking the differences between CEX and DEX, and we're also going to be talking privacy communications. There's been a lot happening this week in the crypto space and the general kind of privacy space as well. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of fun stuff to be talked about. So we got a new green screen. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and the background. And obviously, I've still got to do some jigging. We've also put some banners at the front. We'll try and do some stuff with that as well, which should be quite interesting. We're also going hardwired, so hopefully there shouldn't be any lag, there shouldn't be any problems with the audio or any of the kind of video qualities. But I really would like to hear your feedback on that if you notice anything. So always trying to improve the show. But before we get into the topics, let's roll the intro. So here we are. Before we get started, and I always like to kind of introduce Decred from a beginner's standpoint. And I think it's really important that we kind of take this approach. When people look at crypto projects, they can be overwhelmed by them and it can actually be quite daunting. So the idea here is to say, look, what is Decred all about? How is Decred improving the space and working on better blockchain and better cryptocurrency? So the elevator pitch for today is DEX as a public service. So the original idea with blockchain was that it would be open source, and it would be free for anyone to participate in. There'd be no rent seekers, and it would be peer to peer. As times moved on, as presumably would always happen with anything that's popular, middlemen have started to kind of creep in, and we've seen this in quite a few different areas. One of which is the centralized exchange arena. Now, we've had quite a few discussions this week about the differences between CEX and DEX, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But the idea with the DEX is that we remove all of those middlemen and we treat it as if it's like a peer-to-peer currency. But instead of it being a peer-to-peer currency, it's a swap between different peer-to-peer currencies. Now, Decred for the last 7 or 8 years has been building a platform called DCRDEX. As many of you may already know, this is going to be rebranded in the next few days, and the launch of version 1 Bison Wallet will be released. And the whole idea is that you should be able to transact between your peers, peer to peer, without kind of having to ask permission from an exchange, without having to ask for KYC, without having to pay trading fees, and all the rest of it. So it should be built on the same mechanisms that the original Bitcoin blockchain was built on, where it could all be done on chain and it could all be validated on chain, and that's it, no middlemen. And that's exactly what Decred has built here. There is no middlemen. There's no kind of one sitting there saying, oh, no, you can't trade, you can't be listed, you can't do this. It's like, if you want to come along and list yourself, you can. It's completely open source. It's run on atomic swaps, which basically means the trade either happens or it doesn't. You never leave, the coins never leave the custody of your own wallet. So the atomic swap triggers a smart contract or a time lock. It says, hey, I want to swap my Decred with some Bitcoin. Both parties agree on this, and then they swap the keys in a timely fashion. And once both parties are satisfied that the transaction can happen, the swap happens. And this is what it means by it either happens or it doesn't. It's absolutely amazing technology. Now, from the general consumer, this can seem like a bit of a massive bonus, but there are also some not downsides, but some kind of usability issues that a lot of people kind of throw out. Oh, but DEX can do it so much quicker. DEX can do this, DEX can do that. And we'll kind of get into the reason why DEX can do things a lot quicker and why DEX has these high volumes in just a moment. But that's my elevator pitch for today. A DEX as a public service, an open source public service that anybody at any project can get involved in. Anyone can spin up a pair, anyone can spin up a trade, and they don't ever have to ask for permission. If you've got the coins, you can trade. End of story. Really, really exciting stuff. So this is what Decred's building. Like I say, we've been at this, or the developers have been at this for a long, long time now, and it's looking really, really sweet. We've got a live stream on Thursday, and all, I know, cross fingers, or only one, cross fingers that Bison Wallet will be released by Thursday. We're hoping maybe even a little bit earlier, but we've scheduled a live stream for 4 p.m. on Thursday. So, really exciting stuff. Really excited to show this stuff to you. Remember that Decred today is all about community engagement. So if you guys are working on stuff, or you want to kind of say your piece and you want to get involved in the show, please just send me an email and I'll send you an invite, and you can come on here and rant. It's not, and you can come on here and have a discussion. We can talk things through and answer any questions you might have. That's really what this is about. It's a bit quiet at the moment because it's the summer, everyone's on holiday and whatnot. But as we ramp up, we're going to start getting lots of guests, and we're going to start doing lots of things. And the idea is, let's bring the community together. Let's discuss these things through, and let's work through this together. More collaboration. And the other mission, obviously, is to show these projects or products in action, to show Bison Wallet, to show Bison Relay, to show Decrediton, to show off the privacy mixing, the peer-to-peer privacy mixing, and all the other wonderful stuff that Decred's been working on. And it really is, Decred does not get enough credit in this space by a long shot. Some of the stuff that it's built is leaps and bounds ahead of pretty much every other cryptocurrency at this point. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can look at the source code and you can delve in. But if you're interested and you want to delve into this stuff and you want to have a look at this stuff, that's what this show's all about, to show you in action, to show you that this stuff actually works, and the future is incredibly bright. So let's have a look at what's happening over in Decred. So let me bring up DCR data. And as you may know, so as of last week, I said, we were at, I think it was $8 or $9. The actual trading fee was. Let me get rid of my picture for a second so you can see all the data. Get rid of that. There we go. So as we were saying last week, the price of Decred was at around $8 to $9. And as expected, as we come to the end of the summer, this is likely to go up. We are really at a very interesting time now, where both Decred's dollar price and Bitcoin price at some point over the last 3 months has hit these all-time low areas, which is actually, if you see the amount of development that's happening in Decred, this can only be a massive positive for anyone that's still wanting to get in. Now, remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what's on the screen, and if you have any thoughts on that, obviously share them. But at this time, we will start to see this improve. It tends to be that, I think the saying is, go away in May and come back after the summer, or something like that. I don't know. That was a completely rubbish analogy, but it tends to be that the summer is a dull kind of period, and kind of everyone goes on holiday and stuff. So we are expecting this to get back up to where it was. Now, an interesting thing that's going to happen here also, when the exchange rate gets back to about 1750, it will trigger the Hummingbot market maker proposal, where that will actually start. And we've got, I believe it's 6 months worth of market maker on the Hummingbot platform, where traders of all different currencies can actually earn rewards for kind of trading Decred or DCR on platforms like Binance. So it should really pick up our liquidity. At the moment, it's not running for the simple reason is, if the Hummingbot people had exchanged the money early, then we would have only got something like 3 to 4 months worth of funding for that proposal. So they've decided to wait until it gets back to a reasonable level. Then that will trigger, and then we should start seeing volume go up as well. So that's a really, really interesting proposal. Really looking forward to that one. If you guys got any questions before I crack on, and you want to ask and just say hi and make sure everything's working, feel free to leave a comment in the chat, either on Bison Relay or here on YouTube. And I will do my best to answer any questions. And if you do it on Bison Relay, we'll obviously make sure you get tipped. Now, another interesting thing that's happening here is, if we scroll back to the top, you'll notice that in terms of total staked amount, we've actually still been moving up. So about a week or so ago, it got to 10,060,000. So we've actually, we're now at 10,123,000. So, that's increased by another 60,000 DCR. It is important to note that the actual percentage rate of coins is not hit its all-time high yet, which was 65%. But we're pretty much up there. And in terms of coins staked, that is the highest it's ever been. In terms of tickets, last week you could buy a Decred ticket for 2,200, and you can obviously look back at the show to see that. This week it's going to cost you 3,200. So you can already see that the price of the tickets is increasing again. We're going back up. The average price in DCR once we start to stabilize, it will be about $4,000 to $5,000. So really interesting. And remember that Decred tickets, it's like having a share in Decred, where on an average of 28 days, your ticket will vote and you'll get your reward, and then you can restake and buy another ticket and go again. It's a really great system, and at the moment the rewards are absolutely crazy. I think it's something like there it goes. Vote reward is 1.29 Decred. So for every ticket that votes, you receive a reward of 1.29, which is absolutely amazing. I don't think there's a treasury spent in the mempool yet. Let me just have a quick look. No, so I think we're all good there. Now, one thing I want to push going forward. Let me close this one. We're done with that one. One thing I want to push going forward is I think we're going to leave the Decred today here on the Cypherpunk Times channel. We're going to probably rebrand this to Decred today. But if you want to follow this and you want to kind of support the channel, that'd be absolutely amazing if you guys could subscribe to this, so we can actually build up our followers and start getting more views. At the moment we're at 201 subscribers, and what I'm aiming to do for people that want to subscribe and get involved, I'm aiming to do a lot more engagement, and I am aiming to do a lot more kind of giveaways and things like that. And we've been talking with Exodus over the last few weeks about things that we can do to kind of get this thing going, to bring the community together and actually kind of bring the engagement together. So if you're not following Cypherpunk Times, obviously this will be, if you just type in YouTube Decred today, it comes up. If you're not following this yet, obviously get following on this. And I think this is where we're going to keep this live stream, this weekly live stream. And the idea with that is, of course, is we can talk about anything. We can talk about price. We can talk about things you're worried about, things that you love, and we can pretty much steer away from the mainstream narrative that we kind of would have to stick with if we did it on the main Decred channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. But that's a general thing there. Let's use this channel. Let's kind of have these honest discussions. So where are we at? We're looking at DEX first, I think. Here we go. So there was this post which has proven to be quite popular, I think, where it's basically someone asking, and I'm not sure if it was a bit tongue-in-cheek or and maybe it was by the Thor guys, oh, is there an exchange that you can do kind of swaps permissionlessly? And as we all know, that DCRDEX is there. It's been there for ages. So it's kind of posting on this week and just saying, come on, guys, don't talk so much nonsense. This has been happening. DCRDEX has been around for absolutely ages. But there was one guy, and I'm not sure if it's a bot or if it's some kind of troll, but this XYZ guy actually responded to me. I was very curious to find out what the deal was with his response. And he was basically saying, yeah, this is DEX is basically nonsense. You should support CEX, and CEX is so much, or CEX is so much faster, so much better for traders and all the rest of it. And it did get me thinking. Excuse me. It did get me thinking about the challenges that we're actually facing, and we had you can probably read this if you go through. Yeah, I mean he's posted quite a few things on it, but it did get me thinking about the challenges that we face with DEXs versus centralized exchanges. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the volume on centralized exchanges might not necessarily be real, and also because it's not done on chain, there's no way of validating this information. There's no way of kind of saying, hey, look, that trade happened or it didn't. So what we're tending to find with Coinbase and Binance in particular is the volumes are absolutely through the roof. The amount of volume, even today, I don't know if you just saw that on DCR data, but even today they're claiming to have traded 10,000 DCR, and the actual pool size itself isn't as big as that. So it's kind of like, you're bouncing all these things backwards and forwards, and because it's just one spreadsheet moving to another cell on that spreadsheet, there's no cost involved. There's no kind of, it just happens instantly. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is a lot of this stuff is actually ridiculously manipulated. And without kind of breaking this down and saying, look, this can be detrimental to any kind of project not having real price discovery. Without you go in there and, oh yeah, we just generated $2 million worth of volume, and then you see a DEX that can barely raise a couple of thousand, and you start to think, well, something isn't quite right here, and we do need to find this price discovery. And the guy here, this XYZ guy, is quite right. We will never get the same amount of volume as a CEX because it's on chain. You can, when a transaction or an exchange happens, you see it happen. There's no ifs or buts. You can follow it on chain. So, look, that person has actually just swapped that money. It's happened on chain. Boom. So you can build up this recognition of actually people want to buy at that price, or people want to do certain things. Whereas you can't necessarily have that. The other downside of centralized exchanges, or sorry, let's do the upside. The other upside of a centralized exchange is how fast everything happens. So, for instance, if you put a trade in, your spread might be a bit low, but you'll get it completed almost instantly on a centralized exchange. And once again, this is purely because centralized exchange can go from one cell on a spreadsheet to another cell on a spreadsheet. There's nothing has to change hands because it's all done on their platform. Whereas on DEXs, proper on-chain DEXs like Bison Wallet, it does take a little bit of time because you're physically moving money from one wallet to another. So, for instance, if you're trading Decred to USDC, you're physically moving Decred from one wallet to another wallet on chain, and you're doing the same with USDC. You're moving it from one USDC wallet to another, all on chain. Now, in terms of how long this takes, for Decred normally takes free confirmations, which is 15 minutes. So to complete a trade, it does take 15 minutes one way and obviously 15 minutes the other way. So you need free confirmations on both chains. So this can actually range, or free confirmation. So it can actually range from as low as 30 minutes all the way up to about an hour. And people do find that really, really frustrating. And it's one of the biggest criticisms that we've had, actually, whereas, oh, it's so slow, but it's because the exchange is actually happening. You are self custodying your money. You're not, it's not just left on a spreadsheet on a centralized exchange. You're physically custodying that. Sorry, my words are rubbish on that, but you're literally, you are owning that in your own wallet that you have the keys for, and that's the main difference there. So when all this shenanigans happens with an exchange where they say, oh, sorry, you can't trade at the moment, or we're closing down this particular pair for the moment, or you need to KYC in order to get your money out, that doesn't happen on DEX. And it's because of all these little finicky things that make it so much better. Another thing that probably needs to be thought about is, if you think about a real transaction like a Visa transaction, although it shows up in your account almost instantly, it can still take up to 7 days, normally about 24 hours, but it can actually take up to 7 days to actually fully settle. Now, on chain, on Decred, or on Polygon, or on Bitcoin, you really are talking a few hours maximum, and it fully settles. The main difference is you have to leave your machine on, in the background running to make sure it does settle. Whereas with Visa, they do it all on their side, and as does the centralized exchanges. So there are definite upsides and downsides. At this particular moment, I would definitely say that in terms of centralized exchanges, the fiat value that they bring to the space is unparalleled. We're probably not going to get rid of that, certainly for the short term, where they can actually bring in so much capital in terms of fiat, whereas we're not really getting that at the moment. One thing that Binance has done this week, and have already done it with the USDC, is they've actually combined the euro with the euro coin. So now it's become kind of just a single entity. So when someone from Europe deposits euros onto the Coinbase platform, that is now going to be USDC, which is instant crypto, and it doesn't actually cost anything else to trade with that anymore. And it's the same with the USDC, is that's now been combined with the US dollar. So when a an American customer deposits US dollar onto their onto Coinbase, it instantly becomes crypto without actually losing any fees, which is one of the reasons I just think it's they've got the ground for, or they've got the absolute upside for fiat currency. So that's not necessarily going away. But in terms of trading crypto to crypto, and in terms of once you've got your fiat, getting off the exchanges is ridiculously important. And we have this year alone, we've seen so many exchanges kind of halt trades or stop users from getting to their coins or taking their coins out when they want to. So yeah, that's my theory there, and I think we're probably going to end up finding a middle ground between DEX and CEX. So essentially, I shouldn't keep saying that, I'm going to get banned by YouTube. Centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges, and this is really what we're trying to find. So if you're trading, if you're high frequency trading, if you're trading loads and loads, you're probably still better off doing that maybe on centralized exchanges. If you're doing anything with fiat, where you're taking fiat out of the system or you're putting fiat into the system, you're going to probably want to do that on centralized exchanges. And then for everything else, where you want to hold your own coins, you want to trade between coins at will, then, we need to start thinking that DEXs are going to be the way forward. We've got a comment. Who's this? Tool Americano. How you doing, man? I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in and leaving a comment. Hopefully it all looks good. Hopefully it all sounds good as well. Okay, so yeah, loads of stuff to unpack there, but I think it's really important to note that there are just general users that are not leaving centralized exchanges anytime soon, and trying to convince the masses is going to be hard. It's going to be hard work. But there are definite benefits of having a peer-to-peer decentralized exchange. Self-custody, no trading fees. Yeah, you might not be able to trade at high frequency, and it might take a little bit longer, but the benefits of self-custody is what this space is all about, and that's what Bison Wallet is all about. I think that's pretty much that. Let's move on. So one of the big pieces of news this week then, so the Telegram founder and CEO got arrested in France this week. Presumably he's now being held for things like money laundering and I don't know, some other stuff. I did have another post on this, but what this then begged the question is why are they going after communication platform CEOs? What are they trying to achieve? And there's been a lot of speculation about the fact that they want access to everyone's messages. They want access to all of the things that they can't necessarily have access to. And this guy Pavel has basically said, no, you can't have that. I'm not giving over my users' data. So presumably now he's been arrested. That's a done deal, and they'll get that data or whatever will happen there. And it also brings in a bigger question, and we've been talking quite a lot about this over the last week or so, about privacy. And we hear a lot of people talking about privacy coins. But what you don't tend to hear as much about is the fact that privacy in your money and privacy in your communications are equally weighted. If you have privacy in your money, but you don't have privacy in your communications, there's a massive trade-off there. And it's one thing that we've been trying to do with Bison Relay, or at least Jake and the team and Company Zero have been trying to do with Bison Relay, is build a privacy platform, a communication platform that's actually built with money, with private money as well. So when you're communicating on Bison Relay, it has a built-in wallet, both on-chain and Lightning, which are completely private. It has all the double ratchet kind of privacy, end-to-end encryption, server encryption. It's is absolutely ridiculous how private this stuff is, and the way that the team has said, look, it's the metadata leaking out that's causing a lot of problems. Um, if you don't follow behind the text, Jake Giocompite, you definitely should. Jake has got some really good thoughts on this stuff. But he was just basically in this text here, or in this tweet here, just highlighting the fact that communication platforms in this day and age is ridiculously important that we make them as private as possible. And the only way we're going to do that is to take out anything that's kind of leading to privacy being reduced. One of the areas being metadata. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on private communications, on what you think we should do going forward on this, on whether you feel that it's important to have free speech online, digital free speech, or do you think it's okay that we can talk on Twitter openly and publicly? We can use Telegram and Reddit and all the rest of it. Or are there any other platforms that you're using that maybe we should investigate? I've heard quite a bit about Nostra. I've used it several times. I wasn't massively taken by it, but what tends to happen with these platforms, especially if they are really ridiculously private, is the engagement levels are massively reduced, because until you start connecting with people, you don't actually see anything. Everyone's private. So until you connect with them or connect with the groups, you don't actually get to see anything. Um, so maybe I need a bit more of an induction on that. But are there any other ones out there? See, the only two I can really think of that are trying to bring this idea of money and communications together are those two platforms. I mean, Bison Relay just does an absolutely astounding job on it. Let me just shut this one down. Let's head on over to Bison Relay and see if we've got any questions over there. 2 seconds. I always have to switch between the screens on this, which can take a little bit of time. There we go. So this is Bison Relay, and I know you guys have, anyone that's been watching the show for a little bit of time has already seen this 10 times over. Let me get rid of that banner at the bottom so you can see it as well. There we go. So anyone that's been following this show knows that I'm kind of pushing Bison Relay in a big way, because it is absolutely amazing. It does so much, and it's awesome. So what you're looking at here is the chat area, and what you'll see. Jason's in the house. Hey, I'll send him a tip in just a moment. What you're seeing here is anything that says GC is actually a group, and anything without is just individual users. So you can actually see that I've got multiple chats going on here with loads and loads of different people, and it's absolutely brilliant. And the payment infrastructure is actually built in, as I'm going to show you now. So Jason says, I'm here. Not sure if any questions, but I'll see if I can come up with. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, no problem at all. I'll tell you what I'm going to do though, Jason, just so I can show anyone that's watching how awesome Bison Relay is. I've just clicked on Jason's name, and I can come over to here where it says tip, and I can say, right, Jason has just come online and helped me out a little bit and made some engagement. So I'm going to tip him 0.01 DCR. And this is all done over Lightning. So as long as Jason has got enough liquidity in his inbound channel, this should pay practically instantly. So let's see this. Ready? And we're off. So if I head over to Jason's area here, it tells me, hey, I've just sent him a tip. And in a couple of seconds, as long as he's got enough, that should go straight through. All right. So one area, this is one of the things that confuses a lot of people about Bison Relay. If you don't put enough liquidity into your inbound channel, you actually can't receive tips. So apologies if I've just spent all of your inbound sending that one, Jason. But if you come over to the LN management tab, you can actually see what's in all the channels. So max receivable for me is 0.37 at the minute. And as I send money, or as I receive money, these channels actually change, and you do have to kind of close channels and reopen them to have money in them. And then max sendable for me is 0.3. If you want to delve even deeper into this, so you may have to open and close channels. You can go to the channels window, and you can see here are my channels. I always populate my inbound with more. And the reason I do this is because when I send money also, or when I receive money, sorry, it then goes to my outbound channel. So and you'll notice that here, look, I've got 0.5, 0.2. If I go back to the overview, you'll notice that the actual channel, the receiver on that's actually going up now, whereas that should have been 0.2. And that's just purely because of how the Lightning Network works. So if for some reason, so this one here is my inbound channel. If for some reason it says over in the remote area like 0.00, that means you haven't got enough, so you have to close it. Um, this is one of my hopefully they'll sort this out, but this is one of my bugbears, is it doesn't tell you that this is the inbound channel. Hence I put different amounts in just so I can see which one is my inbound channel, so I can see, all right, I'm running low in this channel, or I'm running low in this channel. So if you're not sure which is your inbound, which is your outbound, unfortunately what you have to do is close both, and then you can open the outbound channel first, wait for that one to settle, so it takes 3 confirmations to settle. And then do the same with, oops, that's better. So, and then do the same with the inbound channel. So with the inbound channel, just open a new one just to make sure you've always got enough funds. Let's see, did it happen? So yeah, it hasn't gone through yet, unfortunately. TA is online as well. So yeah, should we see if TA's got enough? Let's see if TA can receive my 0.01. Now, hopefully we can show that working. I'm going to start maxing out everyone's inbound channels in a minute. Anywho, so hopefully those guys receive their tips, and if you have any questions, obviously chuck me a question, or chuck you a tip just to make sure you get that. But I can't emphasize enough, if you are commenting, before you comment, just make sure you've got enough to receive the tip. If it says receivable 0.00 or something like that, obviously you don't have enough, so make sure you got enough before sending that. And that is the mission. So this is Bison Relay. So this is a chat area. We've also got a newsfeed area, which is like our social media area, where you can actually kind of post news feeds, post anything you want. Oh, I forgot to put the Decred Today live on. I'll do that later. But yeah, you can literally post and you can comment. And once again, if I want to tip somebody, I can just click on their name and I can tip them. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, let's head back over to Twitter and have a look at some more of these things. Present. Sorry about this. It always takes me so long to move between screens. A bit of a pain. We got 3 more comments up. So Tool Americana in the house, and Jason's in the house. Fantastic. Thank you for stopping by, guys. I should also say, so Jason is also a member of DigiBuy. So guys over at DigiBuy, you're always welcome to come by and ask questions. Really looking forward. Hopefully, like I said, this time next week on Monday, I'm hoping to do my first trade on air with DigiBuy and Pharaoh and Dash. So I'm hoping to get all of those wallets set up on Bison Wallet to show you guys how it all works. You know, that's the hope. That's the hope, that it's released. And it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to kind of try that out with you guys. But thank you for dropping by, and like I say, anyone that wants to come on and have a chat and try this stuff out, please let me know. If you want to be onboarded to Bison Relay, let me know. And as of next week, I should be able to give away some prepaid fidelity bonds for Bison Wallet as well. So that should hopefully smooth out the process of getting on board there as well. What else has been happening in the news? So CZ is out of prison after paying two billion or something in fines for money laundering, and serving. I think he served something like 4 months or something like that. But he is now out of prison. So maybe we might be hearing a bit more from him in the future. Here is one from Dash, and I forgot to mention this actually. Yeah, Dash are building a platform called Dash Evo, which I thought was quite interesting. Um, but it says here that the first, so it's been going on for a few weeks now, and they've just had their master nodes update to the Evo master nodes or something like that, so that they can start building this platform out. That basically seems to me like it's going to be very, very similar to Bison Relay. So their first two apps are going to be usernames. So when you sign into the platform, you get a username. Now, if you end up calling yourself, oh, Tool Americano said it worked. Yay, fantastic. How about you, Jason? Did your tip work? Did your tip come through? But yeah, Tool Americano got his tips. That's absolutely brilliant. Send me a tip back. Oh, brilliant stuff. Thank you. Yeah, so they've brought out two. So one is the Dash Pay wallet, and one is the name service. But if you pick a name that belongs to somebody else, they're going to have a voting system that allows the person it belongs to kick you off of that name. So, for instance, if you are Joe Blogs, Joe Smith, and you end up buying Coca-Cola on their platform, Coca-Cola can come along at any point in time and kick you off of that username, which I thought was really, really interesting. Sensible usernames on a crypto platform. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, whether that is a good idea or a bad idea. It seems to me like it definitely panders to corporations. Corporations can kind of sit on the sidelines, and if Dash Evo takes off, they know they don't have to worry about grabbing that username straight away. And there's kind of a mechanism there that they can actually claim their own username. Um, and also, like I said, Dash Pay is a secondary app, which seemed a bit strange to me also, because obviously if you look at Bison Relay, the app is built in. So let's go back to that. I'll come back. Sorry, this is a bit rubbish, because I'd really like to put both screens on at the same time, but I can't do it. But if I go back to Bison Relay, and we just kind of highlight what I'm saying here. So their first thing is usernames. Now, Bison Relay is an accountless internet. So what it basically says is that you turn up, you give yourself a nickname. So here's Pub Pete 2, and that's it. You're done. There's no kind of taking that back or anything. That's your username. It's all censorship resistant. And that's built in. And like I just showed you with the tips, if I want to pay him, I don't need to say at pubpete2 and do that, or I don't need to put in a big old key. I just literally click on his name and I pay him a tip. It's literally as easy as that. It takes out all of that complexity, and it's done. It's built in. No real nonsense there. However, if for some reason you don't like Lightning Network, and you do want to pay this person, you can do on-chain transactions as well. And maybe this is where Evo might be, at the current point, might have another advantage. So if we go into LN management and we go into our accounts section, no, on-chain section, you'll notice that I can pay anyone using the key here. But what would be really, really cool is if I could just type in pubpete2 there, and then come down here, pay 0.2 or whatever, and boom, it's gone. That would actually be quite cool. And I think that's what Dash Evo really saying. It's an on-chain transaction. It's an on-chain transaction, but rather than putting in that long key, they can just put in that username. So it'd be really interesting to see what the Decred devs think about that idea. But once again, this is going. If you think of Bison Relay as like a web browser or an email client, the payment structure is built into it. It's not an add-on. I'm not starting up a web browser and installing an insecure add-on. It's all built into it as layer one, which, in my opinion, makes it ridiculously secure and ridiculously functional. The idea of having it as an having your wallet as an add-on for your own service, I don't know, it just seems a little bit crazy to me. I mean, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about that. We got a few questions here. What does it say? To America tipped Jason. Yeah, so Jason, I don't think you've. Oh, yeah, I don't think you've got enough in your inbound wallet. If you want me to send you over some DCR to populate your inbound wallet, let me know, and I'll send you some over, just so next week we can make sure you get tipped. Now, the interesting thing about tips, obviously in Bison Relay, is after a few hours they will just reject them. They will just reject. Um, um, Struggled setting that up. Okay. Yeah. It can be a bit confusing. Let me just get rid of my picture for a second. It can be a bit confusing setting up the channels. So presumably, because you sent me a message, let me just check. You did send me a message, didn't you? Yeah. So presumably, because you sent me a message, you're all set up. So what you'll need to do in order to set up your inbound liquidity, you come over to your LN management tab, hit the channels button, and what I would suggest to you, and you might want to just check how much you've got in your on chain altogether. As long as you've got something like 0.2, you're fine. If you haven't, obviously give me a shout, and I'll send that over to you. But as long as you've got 0.2 across these, you should be absolutely fine. So come over to your channels, press close on both of them. Like I said, we'll take 3 confirmations to close these. Whilst you've closed your channels, you will lose access to Bison Relay. But once they're fully closed, once it comes where it says active here, it'll say pending closure. Once they completely disappear, then you can start by just clicking on open outbound channel, and then you can go through the process again. It's really, really simple. You just type in the amount that you want here. So for your outbound, put something like zero point 0.2 in there or something like that. Let me just skip that. And then you can just press, do that again. And then you can just press request outbound channel. You do have to wait 3 confirmations. So about 15 minutes. And then once that completes and it says it's okay, it'll take you back to this screen, and then you can open up your inbound channel and you can do exactly the same thing again. The main difference with the inbound channel is there is a 1% fee, because you're basically borrowing money. You're basically borrowing liquidity so you can be sent money. So it's a bit of a strange concept. But that's what's happened in it. And it's also the reason you probably don't want to borrow too much. If you kind of say, I'll put 5 Decred here, you'll end up paying this 1% fee. But if your channel ends up having to close, you lose that fee, which is a bit rubbish. So I tend not to put too much into this. 0.2 is more than you'll need for a long time to come. And once it drains out, all you do is just close it, reopen it again. Okay. So once you've set that bit up, you just press request inbound, let it sell, free confirmations, and that's it. Hopefully that helps. Let me know how you get on, because obviously we do want to make sure you get tips for your engagement. I really appreciate you guys coming by today and checking out the stream. The mission is to get more people on in future weeks. So if you know anybody that might be interested in coming on and trying out Bison Relay or Bison Wallet, yeah, just let me know and we'll get them on. Or even if you guys want to come on and just talk about anything that you want to talk about, it's absolutely fine by me. And I will make sure you guys get incentivized for coming on. Thanks for walking through. Close the channels. Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Once you close them, you will lose access until you reopen them. But it really is as simple as that. One final thing I should say is when they're fully reopened, come to the backup button, and then what you want to do is you want to say save SCB file. And what happens here is, because your channels are different from your on-chain balance, you need to save them as well. Otherwise, if something happens to your wallet where you lose access to it completely, you'll be able to get your on-chain funds back just using your seed. But in order to get your channels back, you will need this SCB file. So whenever you close or reopen channels, you do need to kind of make sure you back them up. I'm hoping, and this is yet another thing that I hope the devs see, is I would like this to be an automated process. So once you've done it for the first time, it kind of automates the whole process. So once new channels open, it saves it to that same location. The amount of times I've actually forgotten to click this button, you know, it's not the end of the world. We're only talking a few quid in terms of what's actually stored on the Lightning Network. But even that being said, it would be really frustrating if, I lost access to my computer but forgot to back up the SPV file and lost that tiny amount of funds. That would be quite frustrating. So at the moment, this is a manual process. Hopefully it'll be automated in the future. I think that's pretty much it for that bit. So let's just head back to Twitter and just finish this up. If you guys have got any questions, obviously ask away. I've got sort of this screen sharing thing out. This takes ages, absolutely ages, moving backwards and forwards. Yeah, so that was Dash Evo. I mean, like I said, same, and hopefully I didn't come across as too critical with Dash Evo, because it is a new product. That they're still working through all these things, and I'm hoping to talk to Joel about it in the next few weeks, find out the direction, and hopefully on his live stream we're going to do he's going to do me a walkthrough, so I can do a bit of a compare and contrast. And to be fair, that goes for anyone that's in the Nostra community. If you want me to try out this stuff and you think it's worth me checking out, come onto the live stream and do a live demo for us. Show us how it works. Let's delve into this stuff and let's make sure that we're sharing good practices. And I'd be absolutely more than up for trying anything. I mean, it's one thing I like about the open source community and the crypto community in general, is that it's an open space. It's all about sharing good ideas. Hence, all the code is completely open source. And that's how we build these things faster and we build them better. We iterate over these things. Now, last one, I'm going to give a shout out to the Pharaoh community. Pharaoh community. If you haven't watched this, these guys, Ruben in particular, and I think that's his niece, are doing this Pharaoh and Friends. And in this particular episode, they did a quiz with 3 no coiners. And it was really interesting to see the kind of fun engagement that's happening. It's a bit silly, but actual fact, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a really nice way of getting people involved in a more casual way. More often than not, crypto is kind of like, oh, here's the technology, and we bombard people. But ultimately, at some point, the technology has to disappear and the user experience will take over. And that's really where we're getting to. And it's not until you put the coins in people's hands and say, look, here's a couple of Decred, here's a couple of Pharaoh, here's our products, give them a try it out. And it's not until you do that that people start going, oh, wow, this stuff actually works. This is really good fun. And I wanted to give a shout out to these guys because I genuinely thought it was a really nice approach. Having a quiz and every quiz question they got right, they got some Pharaoh, and every quiz question they got wrong, they got deducted Pharaoh, which it was really nice. The participants seem to really like it, and I think it's something that I wouldn't mind doing. And I'm hoping to have Ruben on the show, and do Bison Relay and Bison Wallet with him at some point in the future as well, which should be cool. So let's just have a quick check, but I think that pretty much brings a close to everything today. Yeah, TA, I received your chip. Thank you very much. It looks like your one went through. And Jason, next week we'll make sure that we tip you on that one. Just reading a comment here. So Jason just posted, I'm new to DEX solutions. I currently swap fiat for crypto using a centralized exchange and then a DEX to swap said crypto to DCR. Do we foresee a future where there will be a way plebs such as myself can swap fiat to DCR directly using an exchange? I know this seems tricky, if even possible. An actual fact, Jason, I don't know if you missed that bit, but that there is going to be a really nice way, and I think this is where centralized exchanges and let me just come off of this. Hold on. This is where centralized exchanges and DEXs are kind of meeting some common ground, especially places like Coinbase. So what Coinbase have just announced with the euro is their euro coin and the actual euro are going to be one entity. So when you place your and I think you're American actually, so they've already done it with USDC. So when you place your dollar into Coinbase, it instantly becomes USDC and it costs you nothing. The actual exchange between those two costs you nothing. So what I tend to do is from Coinbase, I can literally send that straight out to any wallet I want. So any Polygon USDC wallet I want. And it costs me almost nothing. And it takes 500 confirmations a minute on the Polygon chain, which is actually 15 minutes. I think they've got a 1 second block count, something like that. So what's going to happen here when Bison Wallet gets released, hopefully some point before Thursday, you're going to be able to buy USDC, move it straight into your Bison Wallet account, and every pair on Bison Wallet is going to have a USDC pair. So, for instance, Digibyte will have a USDC to Digibyte pair. So you're going to be able to say, right, I've already put them on there. I've already got my Digibyte, and you can open up market order between the two, and you can trade between you and your friends or whatever. And it's going to be the same for Pharaoh. It's going to be the same for Dash. It's going to be the same for Zcash and Decred. And the interesting thing there is like changing between Decred and Decred and USDC on Polygon. It completes within 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and it costs like the smallest fraction. So it's way, way, way less than a penny. In fact, I think you can do about 200 trades for a penny. It's that cheap. Um, so on Polygon to USDC, obviously there's a fee on both sides, but it literally will cost you a fraction of a penny for each trade. And I think you can get up to like 200 trades for less than a penny. It's absolutely amazing. So after you've done your trading and you've traded between all the coins you want to, because every single coin is going to have a USDC pair, you can say, okay, I'm going back to Coinbase now. I'm going to take that USDC and I'm going to cash out. And it's literally going to be that easy. And it's actually quite interesting. Both Digibyte and Decred are not on Coinbase, and for the longest time, this has hindered the whole progress. But now we're getting to a point where, actually, fact, it's not going to hinder us anymore because we've got a direct pair. We've got USDC now. When you think about it, there are no middle steps anymore, apart from actually just moving it off chain, which you do anyway. There are no middle steps now. You get your dollars, you take it to USDC, and you're away. You're already using it. And then when you want to go the other way, it's exactly the same process. The major benefit, and I think Digibyte and Decred, well, not so much Decred, but certainly Digibyte, there was a push to get your coins off of exchanges. Well, doing this method, it means you can build up volume and everybody can get their coins off of their exchange relatively easy, which is going to be absolutely amazing. There isn't a euro pair on euro coin pair on Bison Wallet yet, but to that might be a wise move going forward, looking at what Coinbase have just done or what they're talking about. I think the service completes. So this merge of the euro coin to euro, I think it completes on the 6th of September. So one to watch out for. Also worth noting that Polygon, Coinbase is not sent. You cannot send or receive on Coinbase from now until the 10th of September. So you might want to keep that in mind as well. What you put there? So we got USDC to Decred is much better than steps currently being performed. Yeah. We can avoid CEX KYC altogether. Yeah. That's going to be the one downside. There was talk about integration with, I think it was Stripe, where you could literally buy USDC on Bison Wallet using Stripe, which is, I think, an alternative to PayPal. Um, I think we're still away. I think we're a way away from that. I think the KYCing for fiat um, is inevitable, unfortunately. That being said, if you already own crypto and you want to get away from centralized exchange altogether, actually, in actual fact, this is now more doable than ever because you can take your Digibyte onto Bison Wallet, change for USDC, and then you can use one of these card gift card services or pay card services and actually use the USDC on one of them, which might be something that people are interested in if they want to avoid KYC altogether. Um, I would imagine for both Decred and Digibyte, the fees on those cards are still quite ridiculous, unfortunately. Hey, Jason just sent me a tip. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, once you get your inbound channel set up, let me know and I'll resend that tip for you. But no, it's absolutely great, and you can see just by sending that tip how quick and easy that stuff was. Yeah, absolutely amazing. think I think that might be it. Unless you guys have got any other questions. Um, Once again, we'll be back next week. We should be able to show Bison Wallet next week. We are showing it definitely on Thursday. So make sure you tune in for that one. I also want at some point, I've just got a new follower who's really into privacy. At some point in the next few weeks, I also want to show Decred's new peer-to-peer mixing straight out of Decrediton. So I need to do that as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. Thank you so much for you guys coming by and checking it out. If you know of anyone that wants to come on the show, if you guys want to come on and talk this stuff through in a future show, let me know and we'll make that happen. For people watching this in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe on the Decred Today channel, which is currently the Cypherpunk Times channel on YouTube. Let's see if we can get that up, and let's see if we can get the viewer count up. I am hoping to stream this live to Twitter, but I'm having troubles at the moment verifying my phone number, which is very, very strange. It won't let me do that, but hopefully I'll get that sorted this week or next week, so we can start streaming this stuff to Twitter. Let me know what you think of the green screen and my Decred achievements wall behind us. I thought that was quite cool. But if there's no more questions, I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll see you guys Thursday for the big reveal. Take care, everyone.